Hi guys, it's Miss K, and today we're going to read a book called We Are Grateful, Otsaliheliga, which means we are grateful in Cherokee. So this book is about Cherokee people, we're going to learn about the Cherokee language, Cherokee culture, and we're going to think about the things that we are grateful for. So as we're reading through this book, I want you to think about the various things that make you feel grateful during the seasons. So every season is different, just like every part of our life is different. And in each season, there are things that we can be grateful for. So in winter, you might be grateful for chilly weather or for time with family. In the summer, you might be grateful for going swimming or eating ice cream. In the fall, you might be grateful for the leaves falling. In the spring, you might be grateful for the new flowers and trees. So just think about all the things that you're grateful for as we're reading this book. And our listening word is going to be grateful. So every time you hear the word grateful, you're going to do this American Sign Language for grateful, which is this. So you're just going to go like this. And that is similar to thank you, which is something that we learned, but you move it twice. All right, we're going to get started. I hope you guys enjoy this book and that we're going to learn a lot together. It's a very cool book. Okay, we are grateful. Otsaliheliga. So if you look at these letters that are Otsaliheliga, the way that we would pronounce that if it were an English word would be completely different than how it's supposed to be pronounced in the Cherokee language. So every language, even though the letters in this word might look the same as letters that we use, they're used completely differently and sound completely different. So we're going to learn so much in this book. So here it says, for every day, every season, Otsaliheliga, we are grateful. Otsaliheliga, and that's how it's written in Cherokee on the side there, is a Cherokee word that is used to express gratitude. It says debut author Traci Sorell, which means that this is her first book, debut, which means she's her first book here, is a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, invites readers to journey through the year with a Cherokee family and their tribal nation as they express thanks for celebrations big and small. Each season leaps off the page through veteran illustrator Frané Lessac's bright artwork. Cherokee words are included throughout, presented both phonetically and written in the Cherokee Syllabary. So we're going to learn about that later as well. Otsaliheliga reminds us to celebrate blessings and reflect on struggles all year long. Cherokee people say Otsaliheliga to express gratitude. It is a reminder to celebrate our blessings and reflect on struggles daily throughout the year and across the seasons. It says fall, and that word is oligohusti, and that means fall. When cool breezes blow and leaves fall, we say Otsaliheliga. We are grateful. As shell shakers dance all night around the fire and burnt cedar scent drifts upward during the great new moon ceremony, as we clean our houses, wear new clothes, enjoy a feast, and forget old quarrels, which means like arguments, to welcome the Cherokee New Year. While we collect buckrush and honeysuckle to weave baskets, to remember our ancestors who suffered hardship and loss on the Trail of Tears, and have hope as our Alisi grandma cradles the newest member of the family and reveals his Cherokee name. So then it says on the bottom, Alisi, which is grandmother. Gola, winter. As bears sleep deep and snow blankets the ground, we say, Otsaliheliga. Here it says Gola, winter. While elders share stories and we savory buttery bean bread and steamy hominy soup, when we feed our animal and bird friends, as older children teach the younger ones how to make corn husk dolls and play cane flutes. So if you've ever had a tamale, you have seen a corn husk, right? That's what tamales are in. And so they're making dolls out of those corn husks, which is very cool. While we gather to remember an uncle who has passed on, as men cuddle babies and sing traditional lullabies in Jalagi, Cherokee. So that's how you say Cherokee in Cherokee. Spring, Gogeyi. When showers fill streams and shoots spring up, we say, Otsaliheliga. We are grateful. While men sing, asking for thunder and lightning's protection of the emerging sprouts that women tend, as we gather wild onions, spring's first food, and serve them with hen's eggs, as we practice patience to sew pucker toe moccasins and coil clay to build beautiful pots. So you can see they're working on creating these little pots here on the table, and they're making moccasins. As we plant ani, strawberries, an ancestral story's sweet smelling reminder not to argue with each other. As we embrace a clan relative heading off to serve our country. So it looks like he's going off, he's in the military and he's going off to serve the country, and everybody's saying goodbye to him. And they're saying a clan relative. So it's like somebody in their clan, in their family. Gogi, summer. As the crops mature and the sun scorches, we say, Otsaliheliga. We are grateful. When we grasp our gigs and wade into the cool creek to catch crawdads for supper, as we sink our teeth into the season's first harvest at the great corn ceremony, while we click-clack sticks, chase a small ball, and fling it high at the stickball game pole. So they're playing a game called stickball. When we recall the ancestors' sacrifices to preserve our way of life, to celebrate Nulista Nidola, history, and listen to our tribal leaders speak at Cherokee National Holiday. Every day, every season, Otsaliheliga, we are grateful. So then this has the definitions of the shell shakers, fall celebrations, trail of tears. And so I'm going to read some of these to you. So it says shell shakers. Stomp dances around a sacred fire occur as part of the ceremonial life of the Cherokee. Women are the shell shakers, wearing traditional leg rattles made out of box turtle shells filled with pebbles on their calves. Women shuffle their feet in a rhythmic pattern to shake the shells, and men sing in Cherokee. The first man calls out for others to join them. A woman follows him, and a man-woman pattern forms. Stomp dances start after sunset and often last all night. And then it says fall, so that was what we heard about when they were talking about shell shakers. Now, fall celebrations. It says the Cherokee New Year begins in the fall. Some families and communities observe the Great New Moon ceremony, while others combine it with their celebration of the annual fall meeting. what was once the Ripe Corn Festival. People fast, which means they don't eat maybe for a few hours or during the day, teach, share a community meal, and then stomp dance. The Trail of Tears, so that was mentioned in the book earlier. Although the Cherokee people come from the southeastern United States, and many continue to live there, the majority now live in Oklahoma. Indian removal by the US government, or the Trail of Tears, as it is known among the Cherokee, split the 7 tribal clans and families between present-day North Carolina and Oklahoma in the 1830s. So they were moved in the 1830s by the US government out of their homes. They were forced to leave their homes, and they were forced to scatter. They were forced to leave their family, leave their homes, and that was called the Trail of Tears. And they were put onto land that was not as good as the land that they had because the US government was trying to take all of their good land and develop it. And so that is called the Trail of Tears. So then it says, traditional Cherokee way of life focuses on a mother-centered culture, from governance to familial relations. So like mothers and women are the ones that are controlling in the government, and they are the ones in control in families. Cherokee children belong to their mother's clan, making maternal relatives key to their upbringing. So if I had a child, and if I were Cherokee, then they would go to the woman's clan, so the mother's clan. And it says maternal relatives are important, extremely important in their upbringing. And then it says many of these life ways were disrupted and many people died because of the removal. So they were removed from their homes. They were forced to leave their land and to leave their families. And many, many, many people died as they were forced away from their home by the US government. Then it says strawberries. There's a Cherokee ancestral song called First Strawberries about the sun introducing strawberries to reunite the first man and first woman. So that's an old song, an old story in Cherokee culture. Gigging. Cherokee people traditionally catch crawdads using a long piece of river cane attached to a pronged metal spear called a gig. Some are made with wire clothes hangers, a wooden broom handle, and a strong tape or twine. Cherokee people fry crawdads to eat. Yum. If you ever had crawdads, they're delicious. At least I think. So it says they'll create this thing, a gig, like it's like a spear. So they'll sometimes create it out of a broom handle. So you can imagine a broom handle, and then they'll put a wire hanger on the end of it. And then they'll stab the crawdads and fry them up. Green corn ceremony, an important tribal ceremony featuring all-night stomp dances. So that's a type of dancing. And fasting, remember that's not eating for a period of time, prior to consuming the season's first corn harvest, along with other traditional foods. Stickball. So remember we saw them playing stickball. They had a bunch of long sticks, kind of looked like lacrosse sticks, and they were throwing a ball at a large stick. So it says a game similar to lacrosse, but traditionally played by men to settle disputes and prevent war. So instead of having arguments and going to war, they played stickball, which is so interesting. Today, stickball is played before tribal ceremonies and for sport and for fun in intertribal tournaments. Boys and men use 2 sticks to play, and girls and women use their hands. Cherokee National Holiday, an annual commemoration of the 1839 signing of the Cherokee Constitution. More than 60,000 people from all over the world participate in this Labor Day weekend festival held in Oklahoma. In Tahlequah, Oklahoma, which is the capital of the Cherokee Nation. It features a parade, traditional games, a State of the Nation address by the principal chief, live music, Cherokee food and artwork, and an intertribal powwow. The holiday occurs around the same time as the traditional ripe corn festival, which celebrates the fall harvest. The fall harvest. And then over here it says author's note. So we've learned a lot in this book so far, and it's okay if you don't quite understand all of it, but I just want to expose you to all of these different things that we can learn, and maybe you'll get curious about them and try to go learn more on your own. So here it says author's note. Cherokee culture places a strong emphasis on expressing gratitude, or unilanuhi, literally, the one who provides all, or God. We also show gratitude for one another, animals, birds, plants, fish, the cosmos, water, and land. Cherokee people believe that recognizing and honoring the way that the sacred and the duties of daily life are interwoven requires effort, ritual, and awareness, but above all, gratitude. I am grateful for the opportunity to provide a contemporary view of Cherokee culture in this book. From my childhood until today, there have been few books that show present-day Cherokee children and their families. Most have focused on our traditional stories or historical figures and events. Other books have misrepresented our matrilineal or mother-centered culture or perpetuated stereotypes, such as the existence of Cherokee princesses, even though royalty is a foreign concept for Cherokee people. So she wrote this book because she never saw herself represented in books when she was growing up. So she created a book to show herself and to show her culture in a way that accurately represents who she is and her culture. So that's why she wrote this book, so that she could feel like she could see herself in a book, and other Cherokee children could see this book and feel a sense of recognition of themselves in a book, which is extremely important to have books that have people that look like you, that represent your culture. That's extremely important. Many of us still observe the ancestral and ceremonial ways of life. We also live and work in the modern non-Cherokee world. Cherokee people are citizens of our tribal nation and of the United States. So they're citizens of both the tribal nation, of the Cherokee Nation, and of the United States. There are many distinct laws and responsibilities applied to us because of that dual status. So that's dual means two. So they're members of the tribal nation of the Cherokee people and of the United States. So even though they're part of the Cherokee Nation and they work in the United States, so they shift back and forth. We work to maintain a balance between these two worlds. Otsaliheliga, so we are grateful, for all who came before us, those here now and those yet to come. And then she tells us about the Cherokee Syllabary, which is like alphabet, but for syllables. So it says, Cherokee people hold Sequoyah, a Cherokee blacksmith and silversmith, in high esteem for his development of the Cherokee written language. In the early 1800s, Sequoyah alone invented the Cherokee Syllabary for the language. In an alphabet, each letter has a sound, right? So A, B, C, they all have sounds. In a syllabary, each symbol stands for a whole syllable. In the tribal newspaper, the Cherokee Phoenix was founded in 1828, and books have been published in Cherokee, including the Bible, school books, hymnals, and children's stories. Sequoyah's syllabary is still taught. Cherokee people use the language for internet searches and word processing, as well as social media, texting, and email. And then here on this next page that I'm going to show you, so this is the Cherokee Syllabary. So you can see like there's one symbol that represents GA, or I think GA. So anyway, you can learn all about this in the back of the book. So I hope you enjoyed this book, and I hope you learned a lot. I've learned a lot, and I hope that you have a wonderful time learning more and expressing what you're grateful for. Thanks.